and died on the street. Is said to be a cursed place in Indonesia, in a forest, dense and silent. On a late night, there is a man coming home on a motorcycle. The car suddenly died. I looked around and I found an old store nearby that looked really There's weird. No other way to take the car and ask to borrow the woman standing at the door. She didn't say anything, just quietly handed me the pliers. After a while, the car finally started again. But when you return it, the store and the woman are gone. In front of you is an empty forest. It's dark and frigid. The man was so scared that he immediately drove away. On the same a truck driver is also driving at night. But the deeper you go into the forest, the denser the fog gets. The man, meantime, on a motorcycle, I haven't stopped being terrified after what just happened. There's a cold laugh in my ear. At first, I thought it was an illusion, but when you look in the rearview mirror, almost dumbfounded. There's a woman behind you. White is sitting in the car. Keep on grinning. Panicked, he sped up, and at the same time, the truck driver. In the midst of the fog, there are shadows. Dull as a zombie walking on the road. He also lost his temper pedaling Galao forward. Seconds later, the truck and the motorcycle crashed into each other. The man was swept under the car and died on the street. There's a lot of people dying here. The locals always avoid passing by at night. After that haunting opening, the story moves to a small town. A woman named Tamara from a poor background, I'm with Lynn, my daughter, went to the bus station to go to the car. Has serious eye problems. It's almost impossible to see everything. I just found a new job in New York. And hopefully we can make enough money for the surgery. But when you get to the bus stop, the last car left. I have to start work tomorrow. If you miss your car, you may lose your job. At the same time, the car of a private passenger car came to ask, listen to the circumstances. He suggested that you pay double. The driver will take you to the cement at night. Tomorrow, I have no choice but to agree. When the sub tells the driver where to go, his face immediately changed. If you go now, they were forced to cross the forest when it was dark. At first, the driver refused, but in the end, for double the money, he calmed himself down and took the train. The car left shortly after. This ride will change their lives forever. I was in the car, and there were some other passengers. As night fell, and the car drove into the forest, the air in the car is unusually heavy. In addition to the driver being awake, most people are asleep. One passenger, suddenly, they say they've traveled the same route twice because I just saw the sign reappear. The driver said maybe he was just dreaming. But at the driver saw a woman standing in the middle of the road, panic breaking all the passengers awake. He shivered, stepped down for fear of hitting someone. There is no one in front of the car. There are only blood on the glass and body. It's as if there's an AI. He just banged his bloody hands on it. The driver and the car has a problem that causes the car to be repaired. Lynn wanted to go to the bathroom, so she borrowed a flashlight tomorrow. The driver reminded them not to go too far because this forest is not normal. I walked for a while and Lynn saw an old tent. There were some people sitting and drinking in silence. A cold, expressionless face, like no life. I asked a woman to use the toilet. She didn't say, she just gave me a sign, but when the spirit came in, she heard the whispers echoing from the darkness. Then, the ghost suddenly reached out and grabbed her face. I also see unusual things outside. A white monkey appeared nearby. Silently look at her with strange eyes. I won't see you, answer tomorrow. As the toilet door slowly opened, came out with a wild smile. His eyes were different before then. The two returned to the tent. The mysterious woman forced them to eat fruit. At this point, Lynn and she hurried to take me away. Tomorrow, you don't know at all. Also disappeared without a trace. Soon after, Mom and son back in the car. There's a few more human shadows that no AI can see. It's the ghosts that followed them. The next morning, the Kartomarong tomorrow begins. New job at the morgue of a hospital. A doctor to guide her work afterwards. Tomorrow, take Lynn to the house of an acquaintance named Silk. On the way, she heard people say last night in the forest there was a serious accident tomorrow. Thank you very much for your safe trip. At the silk house, it's even scarier, while the adults silently playing with a ghost that no one sees. Tomorrow night, I saw my daughter walk and talk like there's AI. She said that after curing her eye, I'm going to travel the world with my mother and my aunt. At that moment, Silk came to the back of the Tomorrow, causing her to panic. I thought you were talking to a girl. Tomorrow, look through the door. Next to my feet, there are other feet. But when you open the door, Holy Spirit is sleeping. The next morning, Silk took care of Lin, and she found out she was drawing in the forest when Silk asked. She turned back in an unpleasant voice. I told you to leave tomorrow at the hospital. Check the records of the bodies that were put in the morgue and discovered a terrifying A lot of people died in accidents in the Robin forest. At the same time, a private doctor spoke. The police found a dead man's skeleton in the forest. I asked Miss Ra to examine the body. Here she met a woman whose name, she asked. Did you see the white monkey there? Oh, he said he saw the morning because you've seen a white monkey in that forest afterwards. She told me her car broke down in the woods. After listening, immediately he said that color. In the forest, a bad car at night is a bad sign. The next, I woke up in a fever and trembling told me they were coming. Tomorrow, my daughter will go to the kitchen to get water. When you leave, the scary shadows appeared around Lin and dragged her towards the kitchen. See me tomorrow and follow me. I saw her standing motionless in front of the window. From the glass, a ghost of a woman wearing a crown appeared. But tomorrow, I can't take me back to my room tomorrow. She began to realize that there was something very strange about her daughter. The next Silk told tomorrow to see the drawing of a passenger car. The eyes are poor. How can I look and paint like this? Tomorrow begins to panic. Maybe something followed them home. When I went to work that day, tomorrow we will ask for documents. Does a woman open a restaurant in a tent or O4? No, but your answer is serious. While at Silk saw Lin smiling and talking to that A. She calmly said she was talking to her aunt, Sales, at the restaurant. Silk tried to calm down and invited Lin to play hide and seek. The more you're scared, move very quickly, even though the eyes are running around the corner like they're being controlled by something else. And then she ran around the table, then suddenly pushed the Silk so hard that broken glass hurt her hand deeply. Lin, with that Silk, weird and say in a cold voice that I'm not a spirit. Her eyes turned black for a second, then back to normal. Silk will call tomorrow to hear about it. Tomorrow, more believe that that night, in the Robon something went along with my daughter that night. Lin continues to have nightmares. A ghost took her hand and slowly led her around the house. In the hallucination, the door of the hut, in the middle of the forest, slowly the ghosts are coming towards her. Behind her is a mysterious woman, his eyes strange hands, as if calling him closer. The scared spirit keeps pointing to the top of the closet and saying, tomorrow, a ghost. I realized the situation was too serious. She invited a shaman to perform an exorcism. If someone calls you, you absolutely must. She gave them 2 bottles. A bottle irrigated around the house to ward off evil spirits. A bottle is kept. He also came to the house tomorrow and said that the restaurant that the woman in the forest doesn't actually exist. You have no stalls, no residents. It's all the devil turned into. I told you years ago. My wife and daughter were missing after their car broke down near the forest. A month later, they found their body. So, I believe that Lin is in real danger. He offered to take her to see him. A very strong spiritual teacher. But at that moment, the soul magic, he appeared in Lin's room. Magic called her to follow him. The spirit is stiff and fainted tomorrow. Illusion. I found myself in the bus the night before. Outside, the book was filled with countless shadows of cold people staring. She ran in and saw the little girl struggling in pain. Silk let Lin drink magic water. Immediately, effect. Everyone to your just place. Looked at the spirit. She's got a very powerful and it's trying to devour your soul. When you read the Bible, trembling violently, the evil inside claims to capture this child's soul. He tried to read it and temporarily force the entity to leave the spirit. But it immediately enters of silk upside down, distortion, screaming that it'll catch souls. He did his best to push it out of the silk. It makes you faint. But this also made the corners of his mouth bleeding. He said, "The spirit is being stalked by the demon queen of the forest. The ghost is so strong that you can't fight it. There's no other way." Lin home. That night, I sat next to my daughter and cried. "I'm sorry I couldn't give you a better life." The next morning at the hospital morgue, "Tomorrow we see a new body." That's the bus that took her through the forest the day before. He crossed that road and had an accident. Consecutive deaths bring down tomorrow. That night, in a dream, you start seeing souls. The ghost had only appeared in front of Lin before. When she woke up, she found that the spirit she looked around the house and saw her daughter drawing a white monkey. Lin burst into tears. She said she didn't love me because I was trying to ruin my eyes. Shout and wake up tomorrow. It's just a nightmare. But Lin actually has a piece of paper that paints a white monkey. The next morning, she came and asked, "See what you know about the white monkey? The white monkey is the forest's most terrifying legend. It often will encounter something tomorrow. I remember you about the white monkey." She and her husband brought Lin to see her. I just saw her, and she said sadly they were too late. She said that in the old forest, but a shaman was injured. Cover the forest at the king's command. He tried to control the ghosts and the dark forces that followed. The forest became a place where bodies were buried. War. Since then, AIs going through the forest ghosts at night and can die there. She said the spirit was marked by a very powerful ghost. The man she seized had only 7 days left, and Lin's time is almost over. The only way is to take her back to the forest. Tomorrow, Pani refused because you can't take me back to such a dangerous place. But as Lin got weaker and weaker, her convulsions and seems to be slowly leaving the human world. She also realized she had no other choice. Finally, they took Lin to the forest to prepare a ceremony with the participation of spirit be placed tomorrow in the middle, sitting next to me, holding my hand. The ceremony begins. A woman unexpected fainting ceremony. She understands that even the ghosts in the forest refuse to help them. "Please pray for me to perform the ritual myself." She told her to repeat the exact prayers. As the ritual deepened, fainted next to the spirit. "Your soul has been drawn into the world of spirits. There is only darkness, the fog there, and the ghosts that roam to find, but constantly being haunted by other ghosts and beaten. Sometimes your soul falls into that in the real world. Her mouth started bleeding. If you can see it, invite him to come. In the world of ghosts tomorrow, I saw it's like going straight to me and then through her body and disappeared. Looking down at the mirror, he realized that beneath his feet were countless human skeletons for the deaths and crimes that have been buried in the forest. He also took her back to the ceremony. They started a more powerful ritual too and pulled spirit out in the ghost. Tomorrow hear the spirit and follow. But the child in front of me has no eyes. You know, it's just a trap. When he went to collect the sacred water, he was attacked by a ghost until she choked me. But the moment near I heard my wife's daughter is calling me. They advised me to leave the forest. When I woke up, I still brought water. This time, we are determined to save the future somewhere else. The future. Lin wakes up in a mysterious tent. The strange thing is in the ghost world. Your eyes are completely normal. In the middle of the hut, the demon lord Lin asked her where her mother was. Demon lady smiled. She said her mother will come soon, and this will become your mother's new world. The fear of running away. I met a white tiger tomorrow. At first, it was going to attack. Thanks to the ritual effect, he realized that tomorrow the living were dragged here to find him. The white tiger shows you the way to the spirit. With the help of the white tiger, Mori and Lin also found each other. Tomorrow, lead her towards the gate between the ghost world and the real world. But just before I got out, the spirit suddenly disappeared. The demon king lifted her up into the air and decided to keep her ghost. In the real world, Mori's body twitches violently. He made her mind and people read faster. In the ghost kneel before the devil tomorrow. Ask her to forgive her daughter, but she's just the word will forever belong to this world. May crying and saying, if I had to take a life, take your life for your daughter. She begged the demon woman to accept her sacrifice and release. The surrounding space was suddenly silent. Maybe it's been a long time. I saw a mother who was willing to die to save me. She finally released a moment later. Lynn woke up and asked her where she was. But when people looked to tomorrow, they all fell silent. Your body is cold, your breath is gone. He sacrificed his life to save his daughter. A few days later, Lynn's eye surgery was successful. When I first opened my eyes to see the world, the first thing she saw was a picture of her mother. Lynn's biggest dream is after being cured, the first person you will see will be your mother. But now she's only in the picture. Lynn burst into the movie tears in sadness. But it also leaves a very emotional feeling about your mother's love. At the end of the movie, Robin, it's referred to as famous cities in Indonesia, also known, associated with many rumors about human skulls.